How's it going, everyone? McKinney here from 3FTV. Today I'm going to explain why I believe I wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be here, the state of Christianity and the impact it has today, the impact Jesus has today, right, wouldn't be as powerful as it is and as big as it was or is, I guess I should say, if the beginning superheroes of the faith weren't considerate of their health and if they didn't actually work towards their fitness and their health, right? You know, superhero, shout out to Falcon and Winter Soldier that came out this week. You know, comment below what you think about that. But I believe the beginning disciples, the original Avengers, superheroes of Christianity, right, took very good care of their health and fitness, right? The reason why I think that's because there's instances of the Bible talking about, you know, Jesus and the disciples, you know, wandering around and walking around, and we know the time period that the Bible is set in, right? We know that they didn't have cars, they didn't have trains, they didn't have public transportation. They had to walk everywhere, right? And just with that basic fact, I believe that they took care of themselves, right? And I'm gonna be going a little bit more into that, but before we begin, I want to make sure that you like this video right at the end of it, or even right now, if you already have an inclination that you are going to love the topic, if you've read the description or whatever, give the video a like, give it a thumbs up. It's really going to help encourage me. But also make sure that you subscribe to this channel. It's going to help you, and turn on the notifications. It's going to help you get notified when I post good content like this. And it's going to help me get this out to the community more and more. And it's just an all-around encouragement, right, for everybody, right? So, to get straight into it, make sure you go follow me on my other social media accounts. It'll be posted in the link below, right? They had to take care of their health back then, right? The reason why is because they had a mission. They were called to go and baptize disciples of all nations. They were called to teach these disciples everything that they learned, everything that Jesus commanded them and taught to them. You can't do that fully, right? And when we're talking about evangelism, you can't do that fully if you have burdens of your own self and you have, you know, bad health habits, right? And I don't want you to take this as me just saying that, you know, if you have disability, if you have any type of injury, if you have an ailment or something, a thorn that God has given you, right, that you are going to be totally useless or you can't benefit from this, right? Because I believe everybody has their gift and everybody has their purpose, right, in the kingdom and in this world. We see that there were different times of people with leprosy getting healed, or Jesus healing the lame or widows or whatever, right? He healed a lot of people that had, you know, physical limitations and physical injuries and stuff like that. And they got healed, and then they went out and saved people or told people about Jesus, right? We see that with the guy that was lame and Jesus, or even the people that Jesus got demons out of, right? He told them not to spread the word, and guess what they did? Not to spread what happened. They spread what happened, and then Jesus came back to that same town, the town that was actually against Jesus, and they were flocking to him, right? I believe this happened in Decapolis the second time he came, that people were seeking after Jesus and bringing people to him, which means that person that was healed, right, was very effective. And so I want you to know that you have your purpose, but we all have our talents and gifts, right? So that evangelism could be, and you can evangelize in different ways, but I believe when you are fully healthy, you're able to actually give back in an evangelistic way to the max, right? And this is different for everybody. But I would say, just looking back in the Bible, right, we see that Jesus and his disciples walked from town to town spreading the message. We see that they walked, and it wasn't just like, I walked to the store. This is 10 miles. This took a day, it took a week to do this, right? We see that they often migrated a lot, right? So they needed to be healthy for that. Now you might say they had donkeys and they had camels, right? Jesus rode into town on a donkey to fulfill a prophecy. I don't know if you've ever ridden an animal before, or even a dirt bike or motorcycle, right? Animals are worse than that. They require a lot of balance, right? Me as a trainer, I've trained someone that was in MotoGP because he needed core work to stay stable and control the bicycle. You need to do this with a horse as well, right? This is why, you know, bull riding at sporting events or whatever is hard, because it's hard to control animals if you're not strong enough. So imagine Jesus walking into this or riding into this and he's falling off the donkey, or he can't control it, right? Or just think about it. When you get off the animal, you have to control it. You need to have enough strength to control the animal, right? So they were fit in that way. Also, it's in the middle of the desert, which means they have to be healthy enough to survive heat, to survive, sunlight shining on them and burning them up. They have to be, hydrated enough for that. They have to be able to last the journey of days or weeks, right? So they have to be healthy in that regard. All right, so there's a lot of instances in that. Or we see Philip walking and seeing an Ethiopian eunuch and helping him get saved. And now that man is a very powerful official, and he went back to, Africa and Ethiopia, and, he changed the continent, changed that city, right? That would have never happened if Philip wasn't healthy enough to be walking in the desert anyway, right? And I think about it in my own life. If the people I met and baptized through sports, the people I helped bring to Christ through sports it couldn't have happened if I wasn't healthy, because I wouldn't be able to participate in that sports, right? And I also want to be in a place where, 50 years from now, someone can say, hey, I'm here today and I'm a believer today because 50 years ago, you were able to walk around campus, you were able to walk around the grocery store, and you met my dad, or you met my mom, you met my grandparent, or whatever, and you shared your faith with them, you helped encourage them, or, I'm here today still a faithful believer because you were healthy enough, right, and you served me enough that you were able to go all the way to my house and bring me food, or help me whenever I needed help moving or whatever, right? You're able to serve people and actually reach out to them in a more powerful way, in a more effective way. Not a more effective, but a more well-rounded way when you're healthy. This is why I believe the state of Christianity is at where it's at today, because people were healthy, right? People were able to walk from town to town, setting up different churches, evangelizing to people, serving the needy, right? Doing things, serving one another, carrying baskets and loaves of bread and fish around, right? He fed 4,000 people. I don't know if there was only 20 pieces of fish in there, and every time he passed one fish, a fish came back, or there was hundreds of fish in the basket, but they had to do that from person to person to feed all that people. You had to carry. A lot of these disciples worked with their hands. Jesus was a carpenter, right? The disciples were fishermen. Nets of fish are heavy. Fish is not light, right? One fish maybe, but 30, 40 fish is not light, and we see that Jesus helped them reel it in, right? He was strong. Jesus also flipped the table. People forget that. And this isn't these tables that we have nowadays because everything is more eco-friendly or easier to transport. These are probably solid wood tables or marble or stone. If you've ever been to your grandmother's house and you've seen an antique table, them things are heavy. Those things you need 5, 6 people to carry, right? Especially if it's a stone table. Stone and marble is heavy. And Jesus didn't just turn the table. He flipped the table over, right? That means he was strong enough to do that. And I'm not saying that's part of evangelism, but we know that that requires some strength and manual labor. And I think most of the disciples had, and that's could be a reason why Jesus picked them, right? Not only before the character or the growth that they can have, but because they can sustain the journey coming ahead, right? They can take the toll on their bodies, right? So that is why I believe we are at where we're at. Hopefully that makes sense, but I believe if we want Christianity to keep growing and getting more powerful, we really need to take charge of our health, right? And this is the charge and challenge I'm giving to you with this information right now, is that if you work on your health, you're able to be a lot more effective and useful by God. Once again, this is not saying if you aren't the fulliest, healthiest, or the fittest person, or you are have a thorn of a disability or whatever, that you're useless or you can't be effective. But I'm saying if you can better your health, you can be greatly effective in evangelizing and spreading the kingdom of God and help growing the family of believers, right? So this is my challenge, just to focus on that. And we know Jesus gave us this talent and skill of health, right? And we know the parable that talks about the guy giving his servants talents, and what happened to the person that didn't do anything, just buried it and came back. He actually rebuked him. But the person that got the talent and actually invested it and brought more money back was praised. And Jesus said he'd rather that person, do something and lose the money than to just bury it out of fear. So with that, you can take this as use your talent, your body, and the skills that you're able to do and things you're able to do in the movement, and actually grow and try to achieve more, because then that can actually bless God, and you can bless God with your not bless God, you can glorify God with your transformation. But even more so, you being able to do a lot more and accomplish a lot more will help you actually go out there and reach more people. Hopefully this makes sense, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any comment or have any questions about anything I posted, feel free to reach out to me. And if you are in need of a personal trainer, a fitness coach that gets you, that understands the purpose behind, health and fitness, that it's more than just vanity and there's a deeper purpose, or want that motivation or discipline in there, feel free to reach out to me. Just comment in the in the description below will be a link to my program. But yeah, hopefully this makes sense. Let me know what you think. Share it with your friends and family, and share it with the network of believers.